And with that, we welcome you in here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium for the South Dakota Showdown between number 2 ranked in the nation, South Dakota State University Jackrabbits, and the receiving votes, South Dakota Coyotes. Hello, everybody. I'm Braden Byers. Glad to be along with you. We also have Dalton Cherry and Tristan Hanna going to be joining us pretty soon here. We're about 10 minutes away from kickoff as festivities down on the field are underway. The national anthem has been performed already by the Pride of the Dakotas, and they were also joined by members of a middle school band from Sioux Falls. But anyway, the Jackrabbits are almost ready to come out onto the field. Let's go ahead and take a look at what else is happening in South Dakota State athletics today. The only other event going on for the Jacks is a volleyball match at St. Thomas that is actually currently live. It is happening right now. And in the fourth set, the Jackrabbits are leading 23-13 over the Tommies, having won 2 out of the 4 sets so far. They lost the third one 25-23. They just took another lead, and it looks like they are going to take that match indeed. So the Jackrabbits are looking like they're going to win the match 3-1 in sets, and indeed they do. So a final in that one, 3-1. South Dakota State over St. Thomas. The only other event other than that one happening is this one right here. And the whole entire state of South Dakota is tuned into this one. The Jackrabbits versus the Coyotes. Jackrabbits, newly minted number 2 in the country as voted by the Stats Perform Top 25 polls. The South Dakota Coyotes in that same poll receiving some of the votes. We'll take a look at the Missouri Valley Football Conference schedule happening today as well. As you can hear in the background, we have a very, very large crowd. Vermilion and Brookings only separated by a short distance. There is a few spatterings of red throughout the crowd, but so far it is blue and yellow through and through. Looking at the Missouri Valley Football Conference, number 1 ranked North Dakota State taking on Indiana State. That one is currently happening right now. We'll give you an update on that momentarily. The Missouri State Bears taking on the Southern Illinois Salukis, and the Northern Iowa Panthers and Illinois State Redbirds playing at 4 p.m. and the Youngstown State Penguins and North Dakota Fighting Hawks at 5 p.m. We have about 7 minutes on the clock until kickoff for this one. That is scheduled for 2 o'clock, going to get started a little bit later. But with that, we're just waiting for the Jacks to come out on the field as they're in the tunnel. I want to thank you guys for joining us here on KSDJ Radio, your student home for the SDSU Jackrabbits. And here they come. The South Dakota State Jackrabbits take the field. We'll step aside here for a minute on KSDJ Radio. your student home for Jackrabbit Athletics. When we come back, we will have pregame analysis from our two announcers, Dalton Cherry and Tristan Hanna. Once again, you're listening on KSDJ Radio 90.7 FM or on ksdjradio.com.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in '09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody, here to Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium for the South Dakota Showdown between the number 2 South Dakota State Jackrabbits and the receiving votes South Dakota Coyotes. We're going to go ahead and bring in our two announcers for the day, Tristan Hanna and Dalton Cherry. Hey, guys, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty good, man. You know, this series is going to be really good. Just anything to add?
It seems to be a very promising game. Two just fascinating brands here, USD and South Dakota State University. It's certainly not going to be a game where you fall asleep.
Nope.
This is going to be going down to the very, very, very end.
It's always close.
Yeah.
Always close.
Well, it's 3 minutes to showtime as they head out and meet at the middle of the field for the coin flip to see who's going to kick first and who's going to receive first. Dalton, tell me, who do you have winning this, and who do you think will pop it off first?
You know, I think it's going to be really close. I think the Jacks are going to come on top, but it's going to be really close. Last year in Vermilion, it was really, really close, and it's going to be a really, really tight game.
Yeah.
But I think the Jacks are going to come on top, so we will see.
Yeah. I was watching the last game of the Jackrabbits, which was last week, and I noticed that they had this new set of energy. It was different. As we are hearing that South Dakota State University has won the toss, and they are going to receive. I think I heard correctly. They're going to receive the football.
Yep.
And it's less than 2 minutes until showtime. So we have a great game for you. South Dakota State University versus the University of South Dakota.
Yeah.
The Battle of the Dakotas. Or the Battle of South Dakota, I should say. We have a sold-out crowd. I don't think I've ever seen the stadium this full, even though
I haven't either.
Even last year with the NDSU game, it wasn't this full.
No.
Honestly, this is the most people I've seen in this stadium, and I've been here last year, and it was never even close to this. This is a full sea of blue, and just little patches of red on the far side over there. Yeah, this is going to be a great game.
It's going to be a great game.
It's very... people have been waiting on this game for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's here today. It's here today, and people are excited. They can't wait. Ready, we're going to head on a 30-second break, and we will be right back here with you. This is Tristan Hanna alongside Delton and Braden. We'll be back.
Yep.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Jacks are on their feet, ready for this kick. Here we go. Kicks up. That was Niall Dickel on the touchback. And here we go with the USD offense. Carson Camp as the quarterback. And here we go. Here's the snap. Carson's motion. That will be Travis Theus. And the ball will be spotted at the 34-yard line. Be second and 4 for the Coyotes. There's the snap. Snap. There's the Theus. And he's swallowed up in the backfield. That is a good tackle with the Jack defense.
Yeah, great defense by the Jackrabbits there.
I like you were saying, Tristan, the Jacks are totally different in this energy standpoint.
Yeah,
there we go.
Especially on a third down, the Jackrabbits love that.
Oh, yes. Here's Camp. 3rd and 3 now for the Oats.
The pressure is on. The Jackrabbits are screaming. They're willing on. They're Jackrabbits on the field. 3rd down.
Here's a snap by Camp. Camp gives it to Theus. Theus. Open room tackle.
Gets through.
Theus 5.
But gets down.
Marked down around. On the 32-yard line. That gives us a 1st down and 10 for the Oats.
Yeah, Theus just slipped through right there. Great opening for him to slide through, get through the Jacks.
Oh, yeah.
Make his way down the field to the 34.
Here's a snap by Camp.
This offense of the University of South Dakota is moving quickly.
They're explosive.
They're moving quickly.
Very explosive.
It seems as if they've figured something out very early on. They made their way down the field already, and it's the 1st down.
Yeah. Here we go. 1st and 10 for the Oats. There's the Carson. Theus up the middle. Gets around the 19-yard line. That will bring up 2nd second and 7 for the Yotes. And like you were saying, Tristan, this offense for the Yotes is very explosive.
It really is, and it's really quick. And once they figured something out, about the Jackrabbits defense, they use it to their advantage, and they just go full head of steam.
Yep. Here's the snap to Camp. Camp gives it. And broken up by
Great defense by the Jackrabbits. That was Lofton, the cornerback. Gets a hand in front of it and says, hey, not today, not on my home turf. No, you're not.
Not on my home turf. Here we go. 3rd and 7 now for the Yotes.
Every Jackrabbit who was able to stand is on their feet, trying to force a 4th down. 7 yards remaining until they get a 1st down for the Yotes.
Camp. Camp looking.
Camp is going to be brought down by the Jackrabbits.
At the 20-yard line.
And they force a 4th down. The Jackrabbits can take a deep breath here as they know that the Coyotes will not get into the end zone.
Nope. And it looks like the Yotes are going to set up for a field goal.
Ogamba is setting up for the kick for the Coyotes.
Kicks up, and it is good. And your score right now is the Coyotes 3, the Jacks nothing.
3-0 here at the Danny J. Dykehouse Stadium. Very, very early on in the game. Very early on.
Like you were saying, Tristan, this offense for the Yotes is very explosive. Someone has to be on the defense and just trying to stop this explosive offense that the Yotes have.
Yeah, they really did let the Yotes
trying to not push them down the field so much. So,
right, 11 minutes, 18 seconds left here in the first is very early. By the way, there's 15 minutes in each quarter, and it's 11 minutes left, so that should give you some insight of how long the game has been going on. But nevertheless, score, Yotes 3, Jacks 0. The Jacks will have their first opportunity to respond to the Yotes on their first chance of offense coming up. We will actually go and take a break here. And when these guys get back on the field, we'll be back right in time to give you updates.
Yep.
This is KSDJ Sports. Do not go away.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
all right, if you're just tuning in, the very explosive offense from the Yotes pushed down, and the kicker just kicked a 37-yard field goal to get the Yotes up 3. So let's see if the Jacks can get back. And that will be a fair catch by one of the Yankee brothers. And the Jacks will set up shop around the 11-yard line.
Yeah, very unusual to see Jaden Yankee there to receive that kick. Normally Tyler Fieldcamp normally is there to receive the kick. Just a change in lineup for the USD game. I don't know what's going on, but maybe Tyler Fieldcamp is in the lineup for wide receiver today. I have no idea what John Stugemeyer has in plan, but here is Gronowski.
Gronowski looking. Finds a long shot.
Oh, that's a flag.
That would be intended for Jaden Yonke. No flag there.
Wow.
Wow. That, I mean.
Wow. A Hail Mary from Gronowski to Yonke, and it was clearly a hold by every Jackrabbit in the stadium, and they're complaining. They're looking for a flag, and there still has yet to be one. It was a clear hold, like clear, very clear that it was a hold.
Yeah.
And there's still no flag, but Gronowski is telling everybody to calm down. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
We're going to get over it.
There's Gronowski with the snap. Gives it to Davis. Davis finds the hole, and he's out to the 20, just at the 28-yard line. That will be 3rd and 6 for the Jacks.
Davis, the player of the week, 27 rushing attempts, 199 yards. Those are impressive numbers from Davis.
That's very impressive.
Starter from South Dakota State University, running back. There's Gronowski.
Gronowski with the snap. Hands it to Davis. Davis makes a move. Davis is stopped around. Davis stopped around the 36-yard line. And that will not be enough for the first. Here comes the SDSU punt team.
Adjustment in punt formation.
Jalen Holloman.
Kirk back. Line number 4, Carter Bell. Flag on the play.
Oh, there is a flag on the play. And it looks like we have
illegal formation, kicking team, 5 players in the backfield, 5-yard penalty to attack going to the end of the kick. First down.
Referee calling illegal formation there on the Jackrabbits. I think that's going to be a 5-yard penalty on their going towards the USD offense. Whenever they take the field, they'll be up 5 yards from where they would originally start from. The offense of the Yotes moving quickly in their first possession of offense. Now it's their second time around. Maybe they've figured it out. Maybe the Jackrabbits have figured out the offense of the Yotes. And we will see in this next rotation. 9 minutes, 43 seconds left. Still very early. Very early in the game here.
In the 2022 season, the Jackrabbits completed the regular season 18-2.
As we are recognizing one of our softball teams, the ladies softball team, the Summit League champions from last season, are being recognized here today at the Dinah J. Dykehouse Stadium in such a remarkable game of USD versus SDSU.
Program record low 1.83 ERA and its best ever fielding percentage of .979. The team boasted Coach of the Year, Player of the Year, and Pitcher of the Year awards.
Wow. They're racking up 3 major awards: Pitcher of the Year, Player of the Year, and Coach of the Year for the softball, the Lady Jackrabbits softball team.
Yeah, a little bit of an interesting note about that Coach of the Year. She actually took another job. She's over at Creighton now, took a couple of players with them, so they have a brand new coach this year.
Okay.
And they're hoping to continue that success that they had from last year.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. All right, we have the USD offense here. Here's Kemp with the snap. And here we go. Here's Kemp looking. Fires. That is picked off.
A pick by the Jackrabbits, and the fans are going absolutely wild here at the Dinah J. Dykehouse Stadium.
First and 10, Jackrabbits. Their 44-yard line.
The Yotes get a chance to pop it off here with 9 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock, as I alluded to, and the Jackrabbits going in their direction with the pick. Great defense by the Jackrabbits. Now on offense.
Here's Gronowski. Gronowski looking. Fires over the middle, almost picked off.
Almost got what they gave in return. A pick it happened on the last play, and that ball was almost picked just now. Almost switching picks, really. Gronowski throwing a risky pass in there for the short pass, which looked to be like a slant on the inside from Jackson Yonke.
Here's Gronowski now with the snap. Gronowski hikes, gives it to Davis. Davis tries to find a little room. He's swallowed up, and he is down at the 46-yard line. That will be 2nd and 10 for the Jacks. Excuse me, 3rd and 10 for the Jacks. Just after going back to this interception, that last interception, I think the Jacks defense have figured out this very explosive Yote offense.
Yeah, it's either that or it was a bad pass by the offense.
Yeah,
I think it leaned more towards just a mistake.
Yep. Here's
kind of pass.
Gronowski looking on the sideline.
Gronowski's pass is complete to Isaiah Davis. Tackle was made by Blake Hobie.
That was completed to Isaiah Davis.
Gain of 6, that'll bring up 4th down.
And it will bring up 4th and 3 now for the Jacks. Here's the punt. Great punt inside the 2. Wow.
I don't think you'll get it any better than that right there. That is as close as they can get it, really.
Yep.
Great punt, great receive by the Jackrabbits.
Yeah.
We are 7 minutes and 7:57 in to the first, and the score is 3-0. If you're just joining us, Yotes up on the board. The Jackrabbits have yet to figure something out here at the Dinah J. Dykehouse Stadium. We will break here, and we will be back with you to give you the rest of coverage here today. This is Jackrabbits versus the Yotes. here on KSDJ. We'll be back.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
And we are back here on KSGJ 90.7. If you are just joining us, 7:57 left to go in the game. USD up 3, Jacks 0. Let's see if Carson can't do anything here. Theus is swallowed in the backfield and is down at the 2 again. Great defense by the Jacks.
No gain on the play.
And the Jackrabbits are fired up here in Dana J. Dykehouse Stadium here in Brookings, South Dakota. Carson Camp with the snap. Snap gives to Theus. Theus makes a little move. Gives about maybe 1 yard on the play. And that will be 3rd and 8 for the Coyotes. Just I think this defense have kind of figured out this explosive offense.
Yeah, it's still early, very early.
It's still very early. But
can't really tell, but it seems like something has clicked for the Jackrabbits, especially from that first half of the game, the first half of the first.
Here's Camp. Camp fires at Theus. Theus finds a little room, and he's out to the 9-yard line. And that will bring up 4th and 2 now for the Yotes. The Yotes will send out their punt team.
Number 9, John Beckel in punt formation for the Coyotes.
Jaden Yonke.
Jaden Yonke, back deep for the return.
Back deep. Here's the punt.
That kick was almost blocked. Yonke doesn't call it a fair catch. He decided to take it.
And he's
but
up
he still caught it at a very, very good mark. And he's going to be taken down, looks like to be at the 55-yard line.
Tackle was made by Josh Manchester.
Be a 1st and 10 for your Jacks.
Gronowski and his squad will head out as they are looking to score here in this first. As we know, the Yotes are up 3. It's not a lot for a game which still has 3 quarters left.
Yep.
There's Gronowski.
With the snap, fakes it. Little trick play there. Gives it to Isaiah Davis, excuse me. And he's taken down at the 50-yard line. That'll be 2nd and 5 for the Jackrabbits.
Davis on the left snap, they want to carry. Morganson made the tackle. Gain of 5.
There we go. Gronowski with the snap. Hands to Davis. Davis tripped up.
By number 3 for the Jacks.
And he is brought down at the 45-yard line. Excuse me, 46-yard line. That'd be 3rd and 1 for your Jackrabbits.
Yeah, great try by Amar Johnson there.
Amar Johnson.
As we noticed that the rushing yards is led by South Dakota, University of South Dakota. Also, too, passing yards still in the lead. South Dakota has that. Gronowski sends Hines in formation, gives it off to Davis. Davis gets through. The Jacks are on their feet. So too is Davis, now being brought down.
And the Jackrabbit first and 10.
The Jackrabbit fans can appreciate the strength and the effort coming from Isaiah Davis. They can feel it down there on the field. Davis trying his hardest just to push through, gain some yards for his team. Ball now on the 37. Just about 4 minutes left here in the first. First down and 10.
Here's Gronowski with the snap now. Gronowski takes himself, and he's brought down at the 37-yard line. There's a flag on the play.
There is a flag on the play, and the ref and the coach of South Dakota State is very frustrated with that call. They're going to call a personal foul and unnecessary roughness here against the Jackrabbits. And the Jackrabbits coach is pissed off completely. Almost Stiglmeyer had to hold him back and say, hey, calm down. The referees are right there as Field Camp checks into the game. And the University of South Dakota makes some changes. Angel Johnson is going to take Amar Johnson's spot here. With 3 minutes and 35 seconds left on the clock, the time is running. In the huddle now, South Dakota State University, Jackrabbits, Gronowski, and Angel Johnson is going to try and put something together. They want a false start there as the D-line on the Yotes flinched, and I think it's going to be a false start. We'll listen.
And it will be an offsides on the defense for the Yotes. And here's Gronowski now in the huddle.
Ball is at the 41-yard line. First down and 14.
Here's Gronowski now with the snap. Clap to Gronowski. Gronowski going to keep himself. Going to take it at the 40.
Gronowski on the carry.
At the 41-yard line.
Gaze.
That will be 2nd and 9 for your Jackrabbits.
Second down, get 9.
And here's Gronowski now with the snap. Gronowski with the snap. Fires. Batted down, almost intercepted. That was a scary play.
It really was. The defense of the University of South Dakota was almost there, not quite, and they were looking at each other like, oh my gosh, like we were so close. But nevertheless, the punt team's going to come out for
it's a field goal.
Well, the field goal team, the kicker, Hunter Dustman, come out and try and score 3 points for the Jackrabbits. It is a little far. Ball is on 36-yard line. We'll see how much power and skill Dustman has here.
Kicks up, and it is no good. Batted down by the Yotes special teams. And your score, USD 3, the Jacks 0. 2 minutes and 2 seconds left to go here in the first half.
Coyotes will begin at their 36-yard line.
And the Yotes will begin at the 36-yard line now. Here's Camp. Camp with the snap.
By number 1, Shamari Lawrence.
Gives it to Shamari Lawrence. And he is swallowed up. Gain about a 1 on the play. Excuse me, gain of 2. And the ball will be spotted at the 38-yard line. 2nd and 8 now for the Yotes.
Crowd chanting, "Let's go Rabbits."
And here we go. Here's Camp now with the clap. Gonna keep it himself. Gives it to Shamari Lawrence, and he's swallowed up. Good tackle by the defense. And the ball will be marked at the 44-yard line. 3rd and 2 now for the Jacks. The Jacks are on their feet, making some noise here. With 44 seconds left to go. Here we go. Camp with the snap, gives it to Lawrence. Lawrence swallowed up in the backfield. Has
Lawrence on the carry. Top short of the line to gain by number 2, Isaiah Stolberg. 4th down and 1.
It'll be 4th and 1. Now here comes the Coyote punt team. Jaden Yonke back to receive.
Well, that's the end of the first. Score is going to be Yotes 3, Jackrabbits 0, as we see a dance team getting ready to give us a little show in between the first and second quarter here. But what a great first quarter for both teams. Really a better one, obviously, for the Yotes scoring that field goal, getting in position. But still not a bad first quarter for the Jackrabbits.
Oh yeah.
And we're just gonna go to break here, and we'll be back with the second quarter coverage of the USD versus SDSU football game here at the Dana J. Dykow Stadium.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in 09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Glad to have you back to this rivalry with South Dakota State University versus the University of South Dakota.
Yep.
To their end zone.
Wow, that was very. Wow, that was a sky-high kick.
Well, it really was.
By one of the Yankee brothers.
It really, really was. And that is not how they wanted that to go. Every Jackrabbit was on their feet. Every Jackrabbit was on their feet. And now they're not.
Nope.
And the ball will be in the hands. The ball will be in the hands of the University of South Dakota here again.
Yep. Not the way the Jacks wanted to start here.
Well, Jackrabbits now on defense.
Yep.
Carson Cramp. University of South Dakota is going to call a timeout here. And we're going to go in timeout with them. We're going to go in timeout with them. Not a lot into this second quarter, as we are having a little bit of technical difficulties here. But we'll figure those out hopefully in time as we get back. 9 minutes scraped off. 9 seconds scraped off the clock here in the second. Score still remains the same. Yankee dropped the kick return and turned it over to USD. Other than that, nothing really happened here. We go on break. We'll be right back with more football on KSDJ.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Glad to have you back here. We are going live from the Danny J. Dykhouse Stadium. We want to thank you for allowing us to bring this game to you We really appreciate you listening to us here at KSDJ, the home of student athletics. We are here at the Jackrabbits versus the Yotes at the Dana J. Dykehouse Stadium. Here is Theus. Theus being knocked down. Not really gaining any yards much on that one, but
and a couple.
Yeah, just a bad. The Jackrabbits are, if you missed it, the Jackrabbits are supposed to be on offense right now, as they were receiving the kick. The Yankee brother dropped the pass, and they're here again, turned it over.
There we go.
Here are the Yotes.
Camp trying to find the end zone.
Camp is going to get sacked. No, he's just going to throw it away on this one. Carson Camp being locked up, really not having a lot of options to choose from. Time winding down for him, almost sacked there. And it's third down for the Jackrabbits. They are trying to recover what was a mishap by their teammate, Yankee, but it seems like it's only a third down, even though that the Yotes, and that is a pick by South Dakota State University. Just when things are looking like it's not promising, the Jacks turn around and say, hey, we are still here. Don't ever doubt us. A turnover for USD. The Jackrabbits remain, and they get the football back.
This is our house.
What a great pick by South Dakota State University. Cale Reeder in the right position at the right time. Now then, the Jackrabbits are in the right position. They're in the right position to try and score here. Davis in motion. Gronowski passes to Yankee, caught and brought down.
Wow, that was
Jackson Yankee with the catch from Gronowski to get a first down here in the second.
Yeah.
Ball on the 36. The defense of the Yotes are going to make some changes as Gronowski comes out of the huddle. Gronowski and Davis, two very familiar names you will hear all season. Gronowski passes to Davis. Davis finds a way clear for a nice gain for the Jackrabbits. 7 yards gained. The ball is now going to be on a 43-yard line. Second down and 3 for the Jackrabbits. 13 minutes left here in the second.
Ball is at the Jackrabbit 43-yard line. Second down and 3.
Gronowski has Davis on his left and will not give it to him. Will actually take it himself. Tries to get through a hole, and it looks like it's good enough for a first down for the Jackrabbits, and Gronowski leading that way. The Jackrabbits catching up. South Dakota State University. The Jackrabbits catching up the University of South Dakota, in yardage for running. John Stugelmeyer recognizing Breast Cancer Month with the pink cap on in today's game. Looks on the sideline from Gronowski. Has his team in formation, now in motion. Here, Gronowski finds one on the left. And a catch made for the Jackrabbits.
Pass is complete to Mike Morgan. Cameron Tisdale to Zach. Gain 4.
So Zach Hines will come out of the game for Tyler Fieldcamp, the wide receiver. So that's a tight end switch for a wide receiver. Gronowski in huddle with Isaiah Davis getting everything together. Defense of the Yotes are in position. Gronowski claps, looks, passes to Camp. Fieldcamp on the outside. A catch for Fieldcamp.
It was a great pass.
Fieldcamp now coming out of the game. I think that's the second catch of the season for Fieldcamp as he scored in the first home game of the Jackrabbits. Of course, I would know that because that's my roommate, and he talks about it all the time. And Gronowski now sets Davis in motion. Looks, passes to Yonke. Yonke meets a Yote, and it's good for some gainage for the Jackrabbits, making their way very close to where they need to be here in the second quarter with 10 minutes, 40 seconds left.
Yeah.
Dalton, it looked like the Yotes had a fast offense.
They did.
But now it's looking like the Jackrabbits are starting to take over.
Yeah.
With the offense.
Yeah, I think this defense has kind of figured out this Yote explosive offense.
Yeah, they really have. Here's Davis. Oh, I thought it was Davis, as everybody thought it was. And what a great fake by Gronowski.
It fooled us. I think it fooled everybody.
It certainly did, and it certainly almost, I would say, fooled the Yotes, who just figured out very late, and it seems like it's a first down for the Jackrabbits.
Yep.
Tackle was made by Mogensen. Gain made on the play. Ball was at the 28.
Jackrabbits now set up. Gronowski, short pass to Yonke. Yonke looked like he wants to pass it again, and he does! And it's going to bounce before the catch, so it's going to be a no catch. But what a great play that would have been if it was completed. That was Gronowski to Yonke.
Yonke hesitated for like a second to see if he was going to throw it.
Because Davis was not ready, as Amar Johnson is going to come into the game for Davis. That switch is being made. And coming out of the huddle now is going to be the Jackrabbits. Amar Johnson on the left of Gronowski. Zach Hines in the middle on the right. I'm assuming they'll go to Hines. Oh, will they? Nope. Catch made. Yonke in for a touchdown. Jackrabbits. The Jackrabbits, everybody who was able to stand is on their feet here in the Diana J. Dykhouse Stadium.
Yonke just walked in the end zone.
Score 6 to 3. Jackrabbits now up 3. They were down 3 just a couple moments ago. Now they're up 3. They're looking for the extra point to be up 4 here in just a second. 9 minutes, 29 seconds left into the second, and the Jackrabbits has found their way on the board.
Yep. Yonke just kind of walked in the end zone there.
Pretty much. He really did.
Kick, and it's good.
Jackrabbits coming off the field, and they cannot be mad at that performance of a possession there. Great play by Jackson Yonke, the wide receiver, the senior from Madison, South Dakota, local native. Certainly no stranger here to South Dakota.
That touchdown pass of 28 yards. Mark Gronowski, the number 10, Jackson Yonke. Hunter Dustman with the point after.
So the Jacks are on the board, 7. The Yotes, as you know, they scored in the first quarter with that kick, which was good. We gave them 3 points. So score 7-3. 9 minutes 29 seconds left here in the second quarter, and we're gonna go and take a break from the Yotes versus the Jackrabbits here in South Dakota, Brookings, South Dakota, the Dinah J. Dykehouse Stadium. Do not go away. You do not want to miss this. We'll be back.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you.
Walking into the building for the
And welcome back here to the Dinah J. Dykehouse Stadium, where the Yotes from Vermilion has invaded the Jackrabbit territory here in Brookings, South Dakota at the Dinah J. Dykehouse Stadium. Score 7 Jackrabbits, Yotes 3. Here's the kickoff for the remainder of this second quarter. The Yotes do not call a fair catch, still try and run it, still on their feet, but taken down. And the Jackrabbits have stopped the runner of the University of South Dakota, and they'll have the ball on about the 17-yard line. Dalton, what do you think about how the Jackrabbits offense have changed from the first into the second?
You know, I just think they're more explosive. They're throwing really good passes, and they just kind of woken up. You know, the first half, the Jacks were kind of sleeping, but now they've woken up, and this defense, the Jacks, have really woken up. So it's really, this defense is really working on this very powerful, explosive offense by the Yotes.
Yeah, I think they are certainly more relaxed than they were in the first. Definitely, they have gotten the excitement, and maybe some of them had butterflies, as this is a very big game, and it could be a lot of pressure. But I think they realize that, hey, it's just almost like a regular game, but the rivalry is certainly not regular at all. And as you can see by the amount of people in this stadium, as it doesn't usually look like this in this stadium, you can tell that it's a big game and a big rivalry, certainly. And for players, it can sometimes be a lot on their shoulders, as they can overthink games.
Oh, especially.
But I'm certain that they are excited.
Oh, especially for quarterbacks. I mean,
yeah.
Just think that much pressure is on you.
Definitely, especially leading a team.
Yeah.
But we are back. Carson Cup alongside Travis Theus. And Cup passes Theus, almost taken down very quickly, but gained some yards there before again took it down. Theus from Pratt, Kansas, the senior, finds his way to the 23-yard line. Jackrabbits defense. Looking good so far. Really, they really are.
Yep.
As we see, Reeder, the safety, got a pick early on in the second. But now they're trying to stop them again. And the Yotes can't figure it out in time, so they'll call a timeout. "30-second timeout for the University of South Dakota." Yeah, we've talked about how, well, I'm assuming that if you're listening to us, you're not here in the stadium, but you may be watching it on TV. But we can tell you that we have not seen this stadium this full ever, ever. The student section is packed.
Yep.
The opposing side is packed, not with Yotes necessarily, but it is packed on that side, on the far side. And on this side, where the VIP area is,
all blue.
It's all blue, and it's all sold out as well. Yotes now in formation, looking to pass. Is Camp, and it's no good. It's going to be thrown on the sideline. A lot of pressure running towards Camp. The sophomore from Illinois just can't get it right there. 3rd down and 4. I'm assuming the Jackrabbits going to be making a whole lot of noise coming up in a few moments. The bench is already on their feet.
Here we go.
And now the fans are on their feet. The Jackrabbits down there on the field. The safeties, the linebackers, the cornerbacks, they're all geared up for 4th down here.
There's the Theus.
Theus knocked over. Is it a 1st down? No, it's not. Doesn't look to be. And the defensive side of the Yotes will come onto the field.
I just really like this Jack defense. They've really woken up here in the second half.
They really have. And Yankee, who had a mishap early on in this quarter, will have a chance to redeem himself from this kick here. Let's see how he does. It's a flag already. We'll see what the call is.
Offense, number 51, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So as you heard, they're holding. I think he said holding by the offense, which is the University of South Dakota. So Yankee will move up 5 yards for a chance to redeem himself, and he calls it fair catch, even though it's uncatchable. 7 minutes, 27 seconds left here in the second, and we're going to go ahead and take a little break here. Go to the fridge, get yourself something to drink, get some popcorn, and we'll be back here to provide you with all the updates and the highlights for the Jackrabbits versus the Yotes here at the Diana J. Dykoff Stadium.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Hey, nice to have you back here on KSDJ Sports, the student home of athletics, bringing you updates, broadcast, live events here over the radio. We really appreciate your presence, as there are a lot of outlets to get this sort of information from, but you chose us. Thank you. We are here in the Dana J. Dyko Stadium, of course. The Yotes from the University of South Dakota is in town in Brookings. The score is now 7 Jackrabbits. The Yotes, they have 3. 7 minutes, 27 seconds left in the second. And after the second quarter is over, Braden Bryers will bring you a highlight halftime report. But back on the field now, Gronowski claps, receives, passes off to Davis, and we hear a whistle and a flag on the field. Looks like a false start.
False start, offense, number 1, 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, so the Jackrabbits, 5-yard penalty because of a false start. Tyler Fieldcamp will walk into the game. The Yotes are looking over to their sideline to see what play they're going to run next. Gronowski claps. Davis gives it off to. Davis stopped. Not really getting anywhere, really. 17 minutes 15 remaining here in this half of the game.
Gain of a yard.
Second down and 14 for the Jackrabbits.
Second down and 14 from the Jackrabbits, 46.
7-3. Jackrabbits up by 4. They're looking to increase that lead. Gronowski passes off to Amar Johnson. Johnson gets through for some yardage.
It's
great.
It's going to be a third down.
That's a great run by Johnson.
Third down and 6.
Tackle was made by Manchagaya.
Third down and 6 for the Jackrabbits, who have some way to go to get to their final destination.
Third down and 6 from the Coyotes, 46-yard line.
23 plays so far, one of those being a touchdown. Gronowski claps, looks, passes, and a risky pass to Jaden Yonke, and that's going to be a fourth down. It's going to be a fourth down for the Jackrabbits. Defense comes out for the gold and blue. The red and white will switch over to offense. 5 minutes, 57 seconds left. For the kick, and it is a good one. For a catch.
Third catch by number 4, Carter Bell.
By the University of South Dakota. So now switching sides now. The Yotes switching over to offense, and the Jackrabbits is going to be now on defense. The defense of the Jackrabbits showcasing professionalism and athleticism today. Getting some interceptions. So too is the Yotes defense. We can't forget about them.
Nope.
They are on a roll of defensive showcase from both sides here. at the Danny J. Dykhouse Stadium. Both teams have been waiting for this game, I can tell you that for sure, as Kemp and Theus is looking to set up something special, and they don't. Knocked down by the Jackrabbits is going to be Larson, the freshman from Pompano Beach, Florida. Yeah, we know Florida just coming out from a Hurricane Ian. Tough scene there for Lawrence and his family back at home. Nevertheless then, Cramp passes off to Larson. Still brought down. Gained just a little bit of yards there, but not enough for a first down, certainly. And guess what? The Jackrabbits are now on their feet again because it's third down, and we know what happens on a third down.
Oh, yeah.
This place goes absolutely wild because they want a fourth down from their team. Jackrabbits defense is fired up. Larson gets knocked down. That's not going to be good enough for a first.
Tackle was made by Caleb Sanders.
I think teams are waiting to see if it's going to be a first down, and it won't. So it won't be a first down for the Yotes in that possession. Yankee makes his way to receive the kick from the Yotes. Kick is up. Yankee calling it a fair catch. On his knees, Gronowski and his crew now walking out to where they need to be. 4 minutes, 7 seconds left in this half of the game. Then, of course, as I said or alluded to, we'll have a halftime update coming to you. Will be provided for you, courtesy of KSDJ Sports. Gronowski tells Yankee to come over. He does. Claps. Fakes to Davis. Yankee, loads of time. Passes and caught by the other Yankee brother, Jaden Yankee.
First and 10 at the 46.
Great play, great setup, great formation, great throw, and great catch. Great catch by Gronowski. Great catch by Yankee.
Yes.
From Gronowski. Let's correct that. 3 minutes, 45 seconds left. Time winding down for the Jackrabbits to put some more points on the board in this possession. Gronowski hands off to Davis. He doesn't, actually. And a pass is going to go to Jackson Yankee this time. Taking turns on the Yankee brothers, Jackson and Jaden.
Gain of 7.
The Jackrabbits now getting into the huddle. The time is rolling. 3 minutes remaining here in this half of the game. Zach Hines, the tight end, moves over. Gronowski claps, hands off to Davis. Davis clear, gets through one, gets through two, and he's at the 20, at the 10, and here is Isaiah Davis. Welcome to the end zone. Jackrabbits touchdown. Time was winding down for the Jackrabbits to make another mark in this half of the game, and they certainly do so.
That was great. That was a great run by Davis, fighting off defenders. That's what you want in a running back.
Isaiah Davis fights through, puts the exclamation mark on the points on the scoreboard for the Jackrabbits here in this half of the game. And his teammate, Hunter Dussman, helps him out and say, hey, buddy, I'm going to score an extra point for you. Isaiah Davis almost brought down. Really, he was fighting for his life. Fighting for his life to stay on his feet, and he did. Which will now bring the Jackrabbits to 14 and the Yotes 3.
He didn't break one tackle. He didn't break 2 tackles. He broke 3 tackles.
Yeah, he certainly did. He is strong indeed, as we've talked about his importance to this team, as his coaches are now going over to him to tell him what a great job that was. Great fight, great spirit. The heart of a Jackrabbit on showcase by Isaiah Davis. Lining up now. Kick team for the Jackrabbits. Kick is going to be deep, not a fair catch. The Yotes don't think so, and he runs all the way through. Now gets past 1, through 2.
40.
He has to get past 2 others and knocked out of bounds. And what a great run back for the University of South Dakota.
Wow.
A momentum shift with 2 minutes and 33 seconds remaining on the clock.
Wow.
As the Jackrabbits have yet to properly finish celebrating Isaiah Davis's breakthrough and score, they forgot that, hey, this quarter is still not over.
We have a game to play.
And the Yotes are taking advantage of that.
It was a great run, though.
The running back for, well, the kick returner for the University of South Dakota, Wesley Eldor, also from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. What a great return by him. Puts his team in great position. Here is Camp. Camp breaks through. A very impressive breakthrough. I thought it was all over for Camp there in that possession. Gets up and gets free.
Kind of spun him around.
Do not know how he did that, but that was impressive indeed. Now 2 minutes, 11 seconds on the clock. Getting ready to hit that 2-minute mark here in this half. And the Coyotes are trying to gain some more points on this possession, certainly with 1 minute, 50 seconds left. Yotes in motion, claps, Camp, hands off, Theus gets through, or does he? He's being pushed back by the Jackrabbit defense. They don't want him to go anywhere. Great defense on showcase again by Cale Reeder from Yorkville, the junior from Illinois. Now then, 1 minute, 20 seconds left. 3rd down and 6. The Jackrabbit fans who have helped sold out the Dinah J. Dykehouse Stadium are looking to get their money's worth today. Here, 1 minute remaining in this half. The Jackrabbits want to stop here. Camp, sacked by the South Dakota State defense. And the Jackrabbits are loving it. Flag on the field. We're not sure what happened. And looks to be shaking up. It's Carson Camp, the quarterback for the University of South Dakota. And a warning coming out from the officials to South Dakota State University. Didn't quite hear over the ruckus.
I think that was a pin. I think it was a bench warning.
Yeah, it was just a bench warning, just a sideline warning, and it's only a warning.
Okay.
No penalty, no yards taken off, nothing like that. But if they do get another one, that's when they start affecting the in-game stuff. But yeah, as you said, injury coming to the quarterback, slowly walking off now under his own power. So that is a good sign. Don't ever want to see anybody be hurt, but the odds are they're probably going to have their backup come in.
Yeah, Adian Bowman from Minnesota, from Buffalo, Minnesota, the freshman. He is new to Vermilion, and I think he we don't know yet, may get a chance to step on the field here in Brookings, South Dakota. Great insight there from Braden Byers. Timeout for South Dakota State University. 51 seconds left in this half of the game. Great defense. On the last play for the Jackrabbits, sacking Carson Kemp, the lineman of the University of South Dakota, did not do an impressive job, really. They could have done a better job of protecting their quarterback, which is clearly why that sack happened in the first place. Maybe it was great defense by the linemen of the University of South Dakota, but probably better offense by the Jackrabbits. Here we're going to have to kick by Eddie Ogama from the University of South Dakota, and there's a flag on the field. We'll listen to what it is.
Ball start.
So the referees are going to call a false start on the University of South Dakota. The Jacks are loving that, of course, and they will be backed up 5. And now Ogama has to line up his kick once more, puts the cross across his chest, hoping that God will help him with this kick, and it's blocked. And the Jackrabbits now has possession, gets past 1, 2, still on his feet, and being brought down at the 55-yard line, not necessarily sure. But that kick was blocked after a 5-yard penalty. Great signs of momentum shifts for the University of South Dakota. The ball is now on the 46-yard line, and it's going to be 1st and 10 as Gronowski, Hines, Amar Johnson, the Yankee brothers, Field Camp, and Davis hits the field along with their right guards, right tackle, and centers. Gronowski claps, looking for a pass, caught by Zach Hines, and look at the big guy being taken off on the side. 34 seconds left now. This quarter and this half coming to an end, as we notice on the far side, the pride of the Dakotas are putting their plan together to give us a solid halftime show, but nevertheless 34 seconds left until their time. As of right now, the ball is still live. Gronowski is looking, clapping. He has one open, but misses it. That pass was intended for Amar Johnson, as Isaiah Davis will come into the game for Johnson.
That pass went right through his hands.
Yeah, it really did. I think he overran it on that attempt. Looking to the sideline of the Jackrabbits.
Third down and 6 for the Jacks.
Third down, and Jackrabbits look to prolong this possession, trying to get past that. Oh, it's a fumble, but better signs of keeping it and getting a fourth down.
I think
by Gronowski.
That play, the snapper just snapped it. And
yeah, I don't know what went wrong just now, but certainly didn't go to plan for the Jackrabbits.
South Dakota.
The University of South Dakota is going to call a timeout. However, I do not know what happened just now. Gronowski was not ready for the pass to him. Fumbled it, dropped it, but still kept possession, which is better than turning it over completely.
no, of course.
Beautiful day here in Brookings, South Dakota. The sun is out. Still just a little bit windy. Yeah, you may have to bring a jacket out here to South Dakota State University's football game at the Dinah J. Dykow Stadium. However, I talked to some of my friends and they said that this is not cold to compare to what this winter is going to have in store for us.
This one is going to be brutal.
It's not even close to how cold it is. I always like to say I may be a North Dakota native.
Yeah.
I'm not built North Dakota tough, though.
Gronowski is going to kick it out of bounds. 14 seconds left. Yeah, this weather, it's good for Brookings.
It's great for football, but
yeah, it's great for, like, we've seen worse. I've been in worse, and this is to the Jackrabbits. This is great for them. And Vermilion is not too far away from Brookings. I think it's an hour and 45-minute drive, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, something like that.
It's a little bit further than Sioux Falls, but
Yeah.
you know, last night I was up in Aberdeen with the Brookings high school team, and it was actually at freezing, 32 degrees, and I was so cold.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, the Jackrabbits or the Yotes rather, they're just going to call it a quarter and a half and head back to the locker rooms. Try and get out of this windy situation that they're in. Go and warm up inside their locker rooms. Go over another game plan. But we have a great insights coming to you from Braden Bryers, giving you the halftime report and updates. So stay tuned for that. We will go to break. Then when we get back, we'll hand it over to Braden for that halftime report. Score, Yotes 3, Jackrabbits 14. Well, we'll be back.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in 09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back here on KSDJ Radio. Your South Dakota State Jackrabbits are leading over the in-state rival South Dakota Coyotes 14-3. It's halftime here at Dana J, and welcome into your Jackrabbit halftime show. We're going to do a lot of things. We're going to take a look around the Missouri Valley Football Conference, going to take a look around college football. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the scoring drives. Thank you to South Dakota State Athletics for providing the live stats for us, as well as the sports information director, Jason Hove, coming over and bringing us paper stats as well at the end of each quarter. So let's take a look. Starting it off, the South Dakota Coyotes got things. They right off the bat took the kickoff, and they drove 50 yards on 8 plays. That ended in a field goal, and they were up 3-0. After that, the South Dakota State Jackrabbits started things out with a 3-and-out, gave it back to the Coyotes, who gave up an interception on that first play. That was an 8-second drive because of that one interception on the first play. Then the South Dakota State Jackrabbits got another chance at it, and another 3-and-out. No scoring would happen until the second quarter after the first drive, as South Dakota State takes that one, taking off an interception from South Dakota. They drove 80 yards on 9 plays, took 4 minutes and 31 seconds off the clock, and they put 6 on the board. They led it 7-3 after the extra point was good. After that, they went on another 3-and-out, and then the next scoring drive after that was with 4 minutes left in the second quarter. South Dakota State drove 65 yards on 3 plays, and they capped that off with a touchdown and another extra point, and that's where we sit right now, 14-3 at halftime. South Dakota State up over South Dakota. Looking at the total possession times, South Dakota had 9 drives. Their average field position was starting on their own 34. They had 0 points off of a turnover, and they had 4 3-and-outs. Turning the focus to the Jacks, they had 7 total drives, starting on their own 38 as an average. They had 7 points off of a turnover and 4 3-and-outs. Once again, that was the drive recap brought to you by South Dakota State Athletics and their live stats. Thank you for that. We're going to go ahead and take another break here on KSDJ Radio. When we come back, we'll take a look around the Missouri Valley Football Conference and the FBS. And after that, we'll take a look at the individual stats and team stats for the first half. You're listening to South Dakota State football on your student home for Jackrabbit Athletics, KSDJ.
I spent a lot of time in the garage,
Yeah, he's starting with the
but even more time in the rain and mud.
And now a speech.
In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in 09, it was sparks from me, your chains,
Good thing is, he knows
dragging
when he's
behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Somebody call me a ride.
Spark a
Love
change,
that
not a
guy.
wildfire.
Me too.
Visit
Know your
SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to KSDJ Radio. It's halftime. The South Dakota State Jackrabbits are leading over the South Dakota Coyotes 14-3. Glad to have you along with us on your street home for Jackrabbit Athletics. Time to take a look at team and individual stats. Again, brought to you by South Dakota State Athletics and their live stat program. South Dakota State, actually we'll start off with South Dakota leading the way in the passing. In the passing ranks, going to be Camp, where he has 1 completion off of 6 attempts for 13 yards, 2 interceptions, and a completion percentage of just 17. Looking at the receivers, not much in that department either. Bell leading with 1 reception for 13 yards. Looking at rushing, it's kind of spreading the wealth there. Theis with 11 rushes for 56 yards, a longest run of 29. Lawrence backing him up with 6 rushes for 18 yards. And then Camp, the quarterback, with 3 rushes for a -5 total yards. In terms of the defense, looking at this, Hillis is leading the way, a linebacker with 5 total tackles, 1 solo. But Manchagaya, which actually an interesting storyline about him, he played all 4 years of his collegiate career up to this point at South Dakota State, but now plays for the Coyotes. So interesting little tidbit on that. I'm sure if you search that up, you can find it on any of the news outlets here. But he has 4 total tackles, and 3 of them were solo. Looking at pass breakups, Harden, a D-back, with 1, and Thomas as well with 1. So looking at the total team stats, they had 21 rushing attempts for 68 yards, 6 passing attempts for 13 yards, 1 completion, 6 attempts, and 1 interception. They had 81 total yards of offense, averaging 3 per quarter. So that's a look at the South Dakota Coyotes. Now focusing on the Jacks. Taking a look at this, Mark Gronowski, 9 for 14 on the day for 90 yards, a touchdown, and a completion percentage of 64. In the receiving compartment, it's the two Yankee twins. Jackson leading the way with 3 catches for 51 yards, 1 touchdown, and a long of 28, averaging 17 yards per catch. His brother Jaden backing him up with 2 catches for 16 yards. His longest was 11 and an average of 8 per catch. On the rushing front, Isaiah Davis, no question about it, 8 rushes for 79 yards, a touchdown, and a longest rush of 47, averaging 9.9, close to 10 yards per run. And on defense, going to be Cale Reeder leading the way with 5 total tackles, 4 of them solo. He has a sack, a tackle for a loss, and an interception. And behind him is going to be Freeman, a linebacker, 4 total tackles, 2 of them were solo. So that's a look at the individual stats. Now looking at the team stats, they were 15 for 112 rushing, 15 for 90 in passing. They had 9 completions on 15 attempts and no interceptions in the first half, averaging 6.7 yards per play. So that's a look at the stats, brought to you by the South Dakota State Stats and Information Department. We're going to go ahead and take another short break. Be back. We'll take a look at what's going on around the Missouri Valley Football Conference and college football, and then we'll be ready to kick it off for the second half of this one, the South Dakota Showdown, here on your student home for Jackrabbit Athletics, KSDJ.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in 09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service.
Welcome back here on your student home for Jackrabbit Athletics. KSDJ Radio, currently South Dakota State leads 14-3 at halftime. Let's take a look at what else is happening around the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Earlier on today, North Dakota State got a win over Indiana State after struggling a bit early. They only won that by a small margin, 31-26. Happening right now, obviously this game at halftime, but Also at halftime, Southern Illinois taking on Missouri State, 17 to 14. Missouri State on kind of a slump now after running into the Jackrabbits and then dropping a game against North Dakota last week. Speaking of North Dakota, they're on a trip to Ohio today to take on Youngstown State. That game will be at 5 on ESPN+, as well as Illinois State versus Northern Iowa taking place at 4, also on ESPN+. Taking a look around the top 25 of college football. Final results for you here. Number 4, Michigan over Indiana, 31-10. Number 8, Tennessee, traveling well to LSU, 40-13. Number 17, TCU, takes down Kansas, 38-31. And Arkansas dropping big to number 23, Mississippi State, 17-40. Happening right now and currently in progress. South Florida, 17-21 versus Cincinnati. Auburn taking on number 2 ranked Georgia, 14-0 in that one. Number 7, Oklahoma State, up only by a small margin over Texas Tech, 17-14. 2 ranked teams in Utah and UCLA duking it out. UCLA has the edge, 14-3 over the 11th ranked Utah Utes. 14-7, Ohio State leads Michigan State. Ohio State ranked number 3 in the country. Ole Miss, number 9, trailing Vanderbilt, 3-10. And this is a big one for South Dakotans here. Washington currently up over Arizona State, 7-3. Washington ranked at number 21 in the country. Head coach Kalen DeBoer from just up north from Millbank, former head coach of the University of Sioux Falls. So he's definitely doing himself good out there over in Washington. Going to take a look quick at the just some final team stats for you. The Coyotes had 21 rushes for 68 yards. The Jackrabbits had 15 rushes for 112 yards. And the Coyotes had 13 passing yards, and the Jacks had 90. So total offense, USD had 27 plays for 81 yards, and SDSU had 30 plays for 202 yards. So now is a great time to go ahead and bring back in my colleagues, Dalton and Tristan. After hearing those stats, what are some of your takeaways from the first half and looking into the second?
You know, this defense has really, this Jackrabbit defense has really woken up in the first half. You know, coming from, you know, the first half when the Yotes offense really got explosive, and yeah, Tristan, anything to add?
Yeah, the offense of South Dakota State University, they are just putting on an absolute clinic now as they are getting used to the defense of the University of South Dakota.
I agree.
Defense, but the defense of the Jackrabbits are also looking like world class right now because they have figured out the offense of the Yotes, getting a lot of those interceptions coming in as well. This is going to be the start of the third, and I'm gonna take it over to Dalton.
And here's the kick. Here's the kick by the Yotes. Travels into the end zone for a touchback, and that will be out to the 25-yard line. That'll be 1st and 10 for the Jackrabbits.
Seems to be a flag on that play, I think. 5-yard penalty on the defense. The ball was originally supposed to be taken at the 25, now it's at the 30.
Yep. Here's Gronowski now with the snap. Gronowski hands it to Davis. Davis finds a hole He's out to around the 40-yard line. And then it'll be 2nd and 2 for your Jackrabbits. Gronowski now with the snap. And it's Amar Johnson. Johnson stopped, and there's a flag on the play. He went about 2 yards there. He swallowed up.
It looked like a personal foul to me. I'm not sure what they're going to call here.
It will be a face mask by the Yotes. Be a 5-yard penalty. And that'll push the Yotes up, or the Jacks up. It'll be a 1st and 10 for your Jackrabbits. Here's Gronowski now with the snap. Claps. Gronowski looking at taking himself. Finds a hole. Gets about maybe 5 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 5 for your Jackrabbits. Ball's on the 39-yard line. Gronowski now with the snap. Claps. Gronowski looking. Fires. Had nowhere to go. He was tripped up. And that's going to be a flag for what looks like to be pass interference. But we will see the call here. And it will be a pass interference by the Yotes. 15-yard penalty, an automatic 1st down for your Jackrabbits. Jack's in the huddle here. Here's the snap by Gronowski. Gronowski claps, looking. Gives it to Amar Johnson. Amar Johnson gets about 3, 4, 5 yards on the carry. That'll be 1st and 10 for the Jacks. Excuse me, 2nd and 9 for your Jackrabbits. Jacks now in the huddle. Here's the snap by Gronowski. Gronowski. Claps. Gives to Davis. Davis finds a hole. Gives about 3 yards on the carry.
Davis with the carry.
And that'll be 3rd and 6 for your Jackrabbits. Gronowski now in the huddle.
Put down 6 from the Coyote 20.
Here's the snap to Gronowski. Looks, takes himself. He's swallowed up at the 15-yard line. And
Ball is at the 15.
it looks like they're going to go for it. 4th and 1. Here we go. Ranowski. Gives it to Davis. Davis is enough for the first down. There's a flag.
Flag on the play.
And 48 left to go here in the third quarter. Jacks up 14-3. And it will be an unsportsmanlike conduct for the Yotes. That will be half the distance to the goal. It will be an automatic first down for your Jackrabbits. Excuse me, 1st and 5. Ranowski now in the snap, looking for Davis. Davis makes a move, touchdown, Jackrabbits. Wow.
What a great battle for Davis against the Yotes defense to get in there and score a touchdown, making his way around all of those white jerseys in his way, and finds a way to slip into the end zone.
Yes.
Jackrabbits 20, Yotes 3. The extra kick is going to be by Hunter Dustman for the extra point.
There's the kick. Kicks up, and it is good. Way good. If you are just tuning in, 10 minutes, 26 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Jacks up 21-3 here in the third quarter. Tristan, how do you think this, this defense and this offense have really kind of focused on the Yotes, that power, that very powerful offense that we saw in the first quarter?
Well, there's certainly something has certainly clicked within that time, from that time to now. Certainly, they're making their way around the Yotes defense,
yep,
as if they were a college team and the Yotes were a high school team. And they've really figured it out. They're really starting to take advantage of their defense now, as they are getting used to it. And I think they've figured it out completely at this point. And I'm friends with a few of the football players, and they've told me that they've been watching film all week long. Even from last week, they've been watching film for 2 weeks now, and they've been watching the Yotes, especially their defense, because the guys that I were talking to, they were on the offensive side, so they were watching the defensive side of things to see how they can work their way around them. And they've been watching it for 2 weeks, and it looked like that 2 weeks have paid off tremendously, because the Jackrabbits offense are putting on an absolute show here at the Dinah J. Dykehouse Stadium.
Of course.
10 minutes, 26 seconds remaining here in the third. Jackrabbits, they are in the lead, 21-3. The South Dakota Showdown here at the Dinah J. Dykehouse Stadium. The Yotes versus the Jackrabbits. This has been a long anticipated game, sponsored by First Dakota, of course. First Bank and Trust Stadium.
And here we go. Here's the kick. Kicks up.
Returned by number 15, Jack Martin.
That will be Zach Martin with the return. Ball will be spotted at the 27-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Yotes.
Coyotes will begin at their 27.
Carson Camp now with the snap. Claps.
Camp's pass complete. Caught by Javion Phelps. Stop was made by Adam Bob.
That was caught by Javion Phelps.
Make that the 44-yard line.
Be 1st and 10 now for the Yotes. Here's Cam. Swallowed up, and he's sacked. This defense have really opened up things here to go.
Loss of 8 on the play.
Be a loss of 8. Be 2nd and 19 now for the Yotes. Here's Camp now with the snap. Claps. Gives it to Thias. Thias makes a move. He's brought down at the 40. Still a little pushing, shoving. And the ball will be spotted here at the 46-yard line. Be 3rd and 8 now for the Jacks. Jacks on their feet now, making some noise here. Here's Camp. 8:30 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Jacks up 21-3. Here's Cam with the snap. He's looking. Tries to find an open receiver. Running. He's brought down.
I think that may be good enough for 4th down, I believe. Yeah, it is indeed.
Yep.
So they'll switch as we see Yonke will head out to receive the kick on the punt and try and return it or get the Jackrabbits offense as close as possible to their final destination. The kick,
almost blocked.
Almost blocked.
Yonke calls a fair catch. Rolls in the end zone for a touchback. And the Jacks will set up shop at the 25-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Jacks.
Great defense by the Jackrabbits on showcase. You know, we've talked about the offense making their way around the University of South Dakota's defense, but it's really the defense of South Dakota State University making their way around the Yotes. Really, they figured it out. So too has the offense. The whole team is now on board, on the same page. They have figured out both sides of this, and they should be able to take this game over, really, as the score will be solid proof that they are on their way to figuring out this whole game. Really, 21-3, Jackrabbits lead. Show no signs of slowing down, really. 7 minutes 34 left here in the third quarter.
Whether you're buying or selling your home, turn to the National Professionals at Century 21 Corporate Company.
The Jackrabbits are leading. They are leading in total yards. They also lead in passing. They lead in rushing and passing yards, so they have both of those tied down completely. And the score is a good way to see that's good proof. Penalties lean more towards the University of South Dakota, and I think the penalties were they were a lot of personal fouls and things of that nature. But we are back on the field. South Dakota State University is on offense.
Here's Gronowski with the snap. Hands it off. Hands it off to Amar Johnson. Johnson gets about 4 yards on the carry. Ball will be spotted at the 21-yard line. 2nd and 9 for your Jackrabbits. Maury Johnson in motion. Up beside Gronowski. Gronowski snaps. Fires looking.
That's Tyler Fieldcamp with a great catch off the slant. Gained some yards, as we know or see that Jaden Yonke is now entering the game for Fieldcamp. And we know when that switch happens, they are either going for a long pass if they do not run the ball. Amar Johnson sets up in the back of Gronowski. Gronowski hands off to Amar Johnson. Johnson tries to get through, and it looks like it's good enough for a first down. So Hines will check in. The tight end, Zach Hines from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The fans know who that is, certainly. Gronowski has Amar Johnson in the back of him, and the Yonke brothers sets up on both ends. Claps, it's Gronowski. Amar gets through one, falls down halfway within those yardages. The ball was on the 32. Now it's on the 37. 2nd down and 5 remaining for the Jackrabbits. Five minutes left here in the third. Same setup, really. Yonke brothers on the outside. Hines right there in the middle. Passes to Amar. Amar gets through but trips up. But good enough for a first down for the Jackrabbits.
Yep. The great run, great hole.
So Hines, Yonke was going to come off the field and switch for Fieldcamp, but that switch has been canceled. So Jaden Yonke will stay on, as we see Isaiah Davis, the running back, checks in, and Hines leaves the field. Gronowski claps. Davis there, hands it off to him, and gets nowhere. They were ready for Davis as soon as he got the ball.
Yeah.
And brought him back where he started. 4 minutes remaining in the third. If you're just joining us, 21-3 is the score. Jackrabbits lead. See Yankee and Hines check in. Gronowski has his team in the huddle. University of South Dakota waits for whatever they have to bring towards them. Isaiah Davis on the left of the captain here. Gronowski claps, hands off to Davis. Davis finds a way through and gets down at the 50-yard line. The ball is on the 50-yard line exactly. 3rd down and 3 for the Jackrabbits. 3 minutes remaining for Gronowski and his teammates to make something happen in this quarter. In motion, Hines switches over to the left side. Gronowski waits for the snap, gets it. Davis is right there, but Gronowski decides to take it for himself. And good enough for a first down.
Kind of fooling me there.
Great play coordination and great play call by the coaches as Davis leaves the field. Field camp gets in. Hines also will take a break. Gronowski in huddle. We'll see what this play will bring. Gronowski claps. Amar in motion. Amar gets it, gets through. Amar Johnson being brought down, gained some yardage on that play.
Gain of 6.
The ball is on the 39-yard line here at the Dinah J. Dykehouse Stadium. 1 minute, 45 seconds remaining here in the third. Gronowski awaits, claps. It's a motion clap, the first one. The second one is for the snap. Amar Johnson gets it.
On the hole.
And pushes back by the University of South Dakota. And it's a first down for the Jackrabbits. Field camp and Jaden exits for Davis to come back into the game. The Jackrabbits are getting closer to their final destination where they want to be for this quarter at least. They would love to be there again, but right now they're on the 35-yard line. Gronowski claps. Jaden moves in. Davis down the middle. Time and caught by Jaden Yankee.
He was wide open.
Jackson Yankee, rather. Finds an open spot on the field. Gronowski hits him dead on in the chest.
Flag on the play.
There is a flag on the play. We'll see what it is. Referee calls a personal foul against the defense, the University of South Dakota.
That was roughing the passer by the Yotes.
Yeah, it really was.
Just entered the K-Science red zone. One equipment that's both powerful and efficient. It's only available in red.
Referee cycling its arm around, signaling to the control room to run the clock. 35 seconds left. Can the Jackrabbits pull a quick one to end this quarter? Gronowski claps, gives it off. Doesn't, actually. And that ball is swatted. That could have ended very horribly.
That was a dangerous pass.
Anybody could have caught that one. Could have been a Jackrabbit. Could have been a Coyote. But if the red and white caught that one, the fans in the Dana J. Dykoff Stadium wearing blue and gold would have went silent. Jackrabbits now in huddle. 23 seconds left for Gronowski and his teammates to pull a quick one before this quarter ends. Gronowski claps for motion to move over. Now set up right. Amar Johnson gets through, but doesn't get any closer. This is a 1st and goal. So the next destination will be for a touchdown. Gronowski, I think they're going to let the clock roll out for this quarter and come back in the last quarter to try and finish off that possession. We are here at the Dana J. Dykoff Stadium bringing this game to you. The Yotes versus the Jackrabbits. Jackrabbits lead 21-3. When we come back from this break, we're going to start a new quarter with a new 15 on the clock. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back here on KSDJ Sports.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome to Dana J. Dykoff Stadium for the last 15 minutes in this quarter. The Jacks up 21-3 on the Coyotes of USD. Thoughts on the rest of the half, Tristan?
Well, in the conclusion of this game, we are in the last quarter.
Yep.
As we see both teams head out to their spots. I think this is a good chance for South Dakota State University to wrap this up.
Yep.
It's just keep pressing towards their final goal. Just wrap it up.
I agree.
Don't let anything loose. They have it pretty much in the bag so far.
Here's Gronowski. Gronowski gonna keep himself.
Very close. We'll have to, I'm assuming they'll even have to review this.
That's at the 1 yard line.
If it's at the 1, I assume they're going to go for it. And if Davis is in the game, and of course he is, I'm assuming that they're going to run this ball with Davis down the right side.
I promise you guys, there is no football coach that would not go for it where that ball is spotted right now. There is no football coach alive.
Yeah. They're going to review it, like I said.
It's literally the tip just to describe it, the tip is probably about the length of your pinky away from breaking the plane of the goal line.
Yeah.
It's close. It's like 4th in centimeters at this point.
Yeah.
Not 4th in inches.
It really is. And it seems like his helmet got into the end zone there just a little bit. But obviously, I knew they were going to have to replay this. It's too close. Like, you cannot tell. Like, nobody can tell that just now. Maybe it'll come back as a touchdown. Who knows? I doubt it, though. But it was really close. Really, really close. But if not, I can almost guarantee you that they will be going for it.
Literally just a step would be a touchdown.
As anybody would definitely go for it. They're really, really close. Like I can't even explain how close they are.
Like they're like.
We'll wait for the call.
Yep.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. The runner stood at the goal line.
Right, so the referee says that it was not a touchdown. It was really close, though. It was really close, and it's 4th down and 1. Really, maybe 4th down in centimeters, really.
Yes.
But the Jackrabbits will remain on the field in pursuit of a touchdown. Here, they have a great chance.
Yep.
Isaiah Davis could be the one to go for it here.
Punch it in.
You never know, but Gronowski is also a runner too when his time comes. So we do not know. Everybody's expecting Davis, but Gronowski could take it here in formation now. They might give it to Davis right away, and they do. Davis gets in for a touchdown.
And there's a flag.
The Jackrabbits are on fire. They have figured something out about the defense of the University of South Dakota. There's a flag on the field. It may unsportsmanlike conduct for the Coyotes, pushing one of the Jackrabbits after the play. I think
things are getting chippy here.
It really is.
Things are getting really chippy, and that's to be expected with a big rivalry game.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But it's something that the Jackrabbits have got to watch out for, because not only can it get them into trouble, it can also potentially injure some players.
Yes. Oh, yes. It certainly can.
Yep.
As Dustman awaits for the snap and the kick. It is good.
Really good.
As usual for Dustman, the kick is good for the extra point. Score now 28-3. Jackrabbits are up. I'm telling you guys, it was not predicted to be this far of a gap in a game like this. When people heard USD versus SDSU, they expected something like a 28-25 game.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
That's what they were expecting when they bought those tickets. But the score is 28-3 in the conclusion quarter of this game so far.
You know what? I heard a couple of quotes from Coach Stig throughout the off-season saying that the year that the Jackrabbits went to the championship game, maybe the game against Colorado State that they won, that first game of that year, was the best game they played all year.
Wow.
They've been playing good football all year so far.
They have.
Oh, they have.
They really have.
And that's a huge step up from that year and even last year, too. Obviously, last year being down the Missouri Valley Freshman of the Year from the year before.
Yep.
And now that they have him back, and even though they're missing some key pieces, they're really playing some good football and can be a real force to be reckoned with in the FCS.
They really can. Great insights there from Braden Bryers, giving us some nice numbers and stats. As we alluded to, score 28. Jackrabbits. The Yotes have 3. They scored 3 points in the first quarter of the game and has yet to put up more points in the remaining 3 quarters. We are in the last one. they do have a chance coming up here because Isaiah Davis got into the end zone and scored on that previous run. We did not know exactly who was going to take the run. We know it was going to be a run. And we know that they were going for it even though it was a 4th down.
Yep.
But the answer is here. Davis took it, and it was good. It was a good decision.
Oh, yes.
14 minutes, 21 left here at the Dinah J. Dykhouse Stadium. In the Battle of South Dakota, which is looking in the direction
of the Jacks.
Of the Jackrabbits. Is looking real promising for the Jackrabbits now. 28-3. That is a score many people in this stadium did not expect, because if we would take our memories to last year's game, which was in Vermillion at this time, it was a close game, but the Coyotes came out on top. And so the Jackrabbits wanting to end things differently this time around.
Kind of a bad taste in the mouth.
Yeah, they really don't want that. They really didn't want that to happen again. They got off to a tough start.
They did.
But now they've caught themselves, figured something out, went back into the locker room, and came out with even more vengeance. The Jackrabbits have found the rhythm they were looking for from the beginning of the game.
Yep.
Here's Dussman giving off the kick.
Little squid kick.
The Coyotes being brought down right away. Like Braden said, things can start to get heated, really, in moments like these, because it is a big rivalry, especially when you have been looking forward to a game this whole season. It's finally here, and it's not going the way that you expected it to in your mind leading up to the game. Because these games can be really exciting, and when it doesn't go in your direction, the mind has a way of getting frustrated and making you act out of character. But here is USD off to Theus. That is Carson Kemp passing off to Theus for 2nd down and 3. 14 minutes as I pass the remainder of this game over to Dalton for him to finish it off. The Jackrabbits 28, Yotes 3. Dalton, we do have an injury on the field. Someone's shaken up. Not sure exactly what that is, but we'll be back. We'll be back after these messages to leave you with the score. The score is 28-3, 14 minutes remaining. We'll be back after this.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
You want me to bring it in? And then I'll pass it over. Thank you for staying with us. We are back here at the Dinah J. Dykhouse Stadium. We are in the conclusion of this story or essay of the Jackrabbits versus the Coyotes The essay is still being written, but we are in that last paragraph, those last few words in the conclusion here at the Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. That's the location. And the score is 28-3, 14 minutes, 2 seconds left. We did receive some stats and numbers from our analysis, Braden. And we do know that this is the second highest attendance for the Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. The second largest. Braden, would you give us the exact numbers, please?
Yes, I will.
Camp goes down.
Camp's just going to keep it and go down. Yeah, so the official number coming down from the Sports Information Office, 19,332.
Wow.
Now, just by looking quickly, do you guys have any idea what the capacity of Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium is?
No.
I'm assuming 20,000?
No, 19,371.
Wow. That is crazy.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
And here we go. Camp with the snap now. 13-19 left to go in the ball game. Jacks up 28-3. Here's Camp with the snap now. Camp looking. Tries to find. He goes down. He's sacked. Has nowhere to go. Tries to keep himself. And he's brought down at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, that's the second time in a row that the Jackrabbits have figured out what the Coyotes are going to do. That's the second time. One before the stats, and then one after the stats.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we will take a media timeout, and we will be right back with your score. Jacks up 28-3 on the Yotes.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Well, welcome back here on KSDJ Radio. Currently 28-3, South Dakota State up over South Dakota. Media timeout taken after an injury to a Yotes player. Now, expounding on the topic of the second largest crowd in stadium history, this coming from Matt Zimmer of the Argus Leader, a good friend of student media, 19,332 people in this stadium. That is the second game to reach 19,000, and obviously, like I said, the second largest crowd in stadium history, but the largest was versus North Dakota State in 2019, 19,371.
Wow.
On October 26th, 2019. The top three attendances are all against North Dakota State.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
So you can tell how much that game means to the people here in Brookings, not only Brookings, South Dakota as a whole.
Oh, of course, of course. If you are just joining us, 13 minutes left to go here in Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium in Brookings, South Dakota. Your Jackrabbits up 28-3. And here's the punt. Jane Yonke in the return. He's tripped up, and it will be a first down and 10.
You know, I didn't even realize this either after looking at it more. The largest crowd was the day that College Game Day was here. I didn't even put that together.
Wow, that's
it's only 39 fans fewer than that.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, to have the game between USD and SDSU be 39 people less than what it was when College Game Day was here.
Yeah,
is insane.
Insane. Here we go. 12:51 left to go in the game. 28-3, Jacks. Here's Gronowski, handed off to Amara Johnson. Johnson gets a few yards. And the ball will be spotted at the 31-yard line. Be 2nd and 7 now for your Jackrabbits. Gronowski now in the huddle.
2nd down, 7 from the 33-yard.
12:19 left to go in the game. 28-3 Jacks. Here's Gronowski with the snap. Looks over the sideline. Gronowski snaps.
Johnson with the carry. Stop was made by Brendan Wood. Gain of 3.
Personal foul. Defense, number 23, participating on a helmet.
And there will be a personal foul on the Yotes. That will be a 15-yard penalty. Be an automatic first down for your Jackrabbits.
Not that they need any help, but it helps.
It does. It does. 11:51 left to go in the game. Jacks up 28-3 on the Coyotes of USD. Here's the snap to Gronowski. Here's the clap. Looking. Fires. That was intended. That was intended for Jaden Yonke.
Something that intrigues me that I've seen throughout the game so far is the arm strength coming from Gronowski. He seems to be slinging the ball pretty well today.
Yeah.
I'm sure he could probably throw it up to 70-plus yards.
Oh, of course. Of course.
If he really put everything into it and wasn't like trying to get it accurate.
Gronowski hands it off to Johnson. Johnson's out to about the 40-yard line. And that will be a Jackrabbit 1st and 10.
And maybe offensive coordinator Zach Lujan, who's sitting on the other side of the Midco Sports camera from us, maybe he's taken notice of that too and designed a couple of more plays to go deep down the field and seeing if they can take advantage of Gronowski's arm strength. Plus, he is only a sophomore, so he could develop even more.
Of course. Gronowski claps, hands it to Amar Johnson. Johnson makes his total step.
Mark Johnson with the carry. McKinney in the tackle.
Be 2nd and 12 for the Jacks.
Loss of 2 on the play. Second down and 12 from the 41-yard.
Gronowski. Here's the snap. Claps. Looking. Gonna take it himself. And wow.
No, he's up right away.
He
got tackled pretty awkwardly, but he's up right away. No problem with him.
No.
No problem with Gronowski.
The whole crowd just gasped. There you go. Ball is on the 37-yard line, 3rd and 8 for your Jackrabbits. Here's a snap to Gronowski now. Here's Gronowski with the clap. Gives it to Mark.
How good is this football team? How good is this football team?
You know, pretty good.
They're doing pretty good.
They're doing pretty good.
They've got a real tough test. I know this game's not over and people don't like to start looking ahead, but everybody's been looking ahead. They got North Dakota State next week, and it's up in the Fargo Dome. That's going to be the real test because
that's going to be the battle for the national championship.
It very well could be, because if the road goes through Fargo in the playoffs, that might spell disaster for the Jacks.
Yep. I believe that game's already sold out.
It is. It is. I know firsthand because I checked. I was gonna go home one of these weekends, and I'm like, it would be pretty cool to take some of my family to a Jackrabbit game because we live sort of a long ways away.
Yep.
And so if I'm going up there, I was looking at, okay, yeah, North Dakota State would be awesome. No, that was completely sold out. So we're thinking about going to the UND one, but no chance.
Gronowski now with the snap. That is picked off. Wow.
I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. That was a heads-up play by South Dakota's defense, keeping their eye on the ball, even after some defenses would think that ball's going dead after hitting off the hands of, I do believe that was Bauer.
Yep.
And it ended up in the hands of one of the Yotes and ran it back a decent ways, and they're now at midfield.
Yep, that was So after that interception, the Yotes of USD will set up shop at the 44-yard line. Here's Camp now with the snap. Camp looking. Gives it to Lawrence. Lawrence has nowhere to go. He's swallowed up. Maybe a gain of 1 on the play. Be 2nd and 10 for the Yotes. Here's a little stat for you. So Carson Camp here on the stat, 2 for 7 for 3 yards. If you notice, they just hand the ball off a lot. They don't really give him time to throw. Not time to throw, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's Camp looking. Escapes and keeping himself. Spin move.
He had a lot of time until he didn't.
Yeah.
And then he rolled out to the right, tried to make something. Good on him to keep his eyes downfield. He couldn't find anything and eventually got folded up by one of the Jacks' defenses.
Yep. 7:03. 7 minutes here left to go in Dana J. Dykehouse Stadium in Brookings, South Dakota. Jacks up 28-3. Here's the snap to Camp. Camp looking. Swallowed up.
That's a good response coming from the Jackrabbit defense to force a 4th down. Even though they did get into Jackrabbit territory, obviously a big chunk of that yardage was on the interception return.
Yeah.
But they did a good stand, and South Dakota's going to go ahead and keep out their offense.
Yep. 4th and 4 now. Yotes are going to go for it. 6 minutes left to go in the ball game. Jacks up 28-3. Here's Camp with the snap. Fighting. And that will be enough for the Yotes first down.
Those carried by Lawrence for a first down. Kate Trevere.
Every play call by the Jackrabbits coordinators down there, they cover the play callers with a tent so that the coordinators of the University of South Dakota doesn't see the play call.
Yep. Give it to Lawrence.
Lawrence with the carry. Gain of 3.
Gain of 3 yards. Ball spotted at the 30-yard line. First down USD. Throws. Wow.
Pass incomplete.
4:48 left to go in the ball game. Jacks up 28-3. Here's Camp with the snap.
You know, something of note. It seems like a lot of sacks have been taken by the Coyotes. In fact, 6 of them. 6 sacks on the day for Camp.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
The Jacks pass rush and just the defense as they have a whole have really been playing at the next level this year so far.
Nope. 4:48 left to go in the ball game. Jacks 28-3, and we have a flag on the play.
Timeout. South Dakota. Their first start timeout of the second half. This will be a medium timeout.
And this will be a 1-minute timeout. You are listening to KSGJ on 90.7. 4:48 left to go in the ball game. Jacks up 28-3. We will be right back.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
We are back live in Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium in good old Brookings, South Dakota. 4:48 left to go in the ball game. Jacked up 28-3. Here's Camp in the huddle, looking for the snap.
Pride of the Dakotas already calling this one a win.
Yep.
Saying that, well, playing a winner song so far.
Yeah. Here's Camp now with the snap. Ball's on the 27-yard line. 3rd and 7 now for USD. Camp looking. And it'll be 1st and 10 for South Dakota. Here's Camp with the snap. That cut was Jack Martins. The ball will be now on the 19. It will be 1st and 10 for the Yotes. 4:16 left to go in the ball game. Jacks up 28-3. Here's Camp with the snap. Lawrence is swallowed up, has nowhere to go. Maybe get 2 yards on the play. I will bring up 3rd and 3 for the Yotes. Jacks on their feet, making some noise here. 3:30 left to go in the ball game. Jacks up 28-3. Here's Camp with the snap. Camp, give it to Lawrence. Lawrence about to get in the end zone, was tripped up. The ball will be spotted at the 3-yard line. 1st and goal, Yotes. Here's Camp now. Lawrence has nowhere to go. And it will be 3rd and goal for the Yotes.
No gain on the play.
Second and goal now for the Yotes. 2:28 left to go in the ball game. Jacks up 28-3. Here's the snap to Camp. Camp gives it to Lawrence. Lawrence has nowhere to go. Swallowed up. And it will be 3rd and goal now for the Yotes. Third and goal for the Yotes now. 1:48 left to go in the ball game. Jacks up 28-3. Here's the fires over the end zone, and it is
intended for Delbert, incomplete. Peyton McGoy with the coverage. That'll be your 4th down.
It will be 4th and goal for the Yotes. And South Dakota State will call their first timeout, and it will be a 30-second. So, thoughts on the whole half, including the end of the game? What's your thoughts?
Well, I think it's all leading in the direction of the Jacks.
Yep.
Certainly, they are trying to put an exclamation mark on the game, or on the story. They do not want the University of South Dakota to score here, even though it doesn't matter at this point.
Nope.
They can score if they like. The Jacks can let them score. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
At this point, it's too far gone. 28-3.
Yep.
And yeah, it's no coming back for the Yotes right now.
Yep.
As I would say, or I can see.
Yep. 1:40 left to go in the ball game. Jacks up 28-3. Here's Camp. Camp trying to find, and he is brought down. And be a turnover on down for the Jacks. 1:34 left to go in the game.
Great stop by the Jackrabbits defense. As soon as he was brought down, we noticed all of the red jerseys on the far side got up, caught their bags, and started heading down the bleachers as they feel as if that's probably the last possession as they make their way out and down and out of the stadium after that brought down by the Jackrabbits defense. So too is the fans of the Jackrabbits. Jackrabbit Nation heading out now. The game is basically over at this point. 1:34. Jackrabbits are on offense. Flag on the play. 1 minute 34 left at the Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. The Jacks versus the Coyotes.
12 players in the formation. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
I think too many players are on the field, causing a penalty to South Dakota State University Jackrabbits. Nevertheless, the subs are in for the Jackrabbits. Backup quarterback Kenton Heidi will come in. Gronowski will sit out. 1:26 left.
On the carry for the Jacks, number 28, Josh Burrard. Now Dakota makes the tackle.
Clock winding down to 60 seconds left in the game. Everybody, or majority of the people, leaving the stadium now. Heidi, the senior from Minnesota for the Jackrabbits, will take a knee. That will probably end it for the Jackrabbits versus USD. Didn't quite go to plan or how people expected it to go, really. They probably expected a closer matchup. Like I said earlier, maybe like a 28-25, that sort of thing.
Yep.
As both teams will meet in the middle of the field for a sportsmanship moment. Shake hands and say, hey, it's just a game. South Dakota State University winning the battle of South Dakota here at home at the Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. It's a win for the Jackrabbits, 28-3 over the Coyotes of the University of South Dakota. After this break, we will come back to you with a post-game report, and we'll wrap it up for you and have you on your way. Score 28 Jackrabbits, Yotes 3. We'll be back.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in 09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back here on KSDJ Radio. Final score 28-3. The South Dakota State Jackrabbits prevail and end the Coyotes' winning streak of this rivalry at 2. 28-3 again. The final. Want to thank you for joining us here on KSDJ Radio. Going to take a look at the scoring drives for each of these teams. We started out with USD first drive of the game, driving 50 yards on 8 plays, ending in a field goal. And then we had the South Dakota State Jackrabbits come back in the second quarter, 80-yard, 9-play drive, and a touchdown pass from Mark Gronowski to Yankee for 28-yard touchdown reception, and an extra point kick good. They led 7-3. Also in the second quarter, 65-yard, 3-play drive. Isaiah Davis with a 47-yard rushing touchdown. That was an excellent play from Davis. And then the PAT from Hunter Dustman, as always, is good. Coming back in the third quarter, first score of the second half was the South Dakota State Jackrabbits, 70 yards on 8 plays, ending in an Isaiah Davis 5-yard rushing touchdown. And much of the same in the final one, this time in the fourth quarter, 80-yard, 15-play drive, ending in an Isaiah Davis 1-yard touchdown rush and a point after by Hunter Dustman. So final score 28-3. Taking a look at stats for both of the teams, 344 total yards for the Jacks, 136 for the Coyotes. Rushing yards, 208 for the Jacks to the 92 from South Dakota. 136 passing yards for South Dakota State, 44 for USD. In total, this is staggering. Really, 22 total first downs for South Dakota State and only 6 for South Dakota. So definitely on the defensive front, putting up a stand. Going to take a look at some individual stats now, starting off with USD Camp. 5 for 12 on the day, 44 yards, 2 interceptions, a completion percentage of 42%, QB rating of 39. Really not a good day for Camp and the South Dakota offense as a whole, not getting into the end zone once. The leading receiver was Bell, 2 catches for 13 yards, an average of 6.5 yards per catch. He had 4 targets on him as well in terms of rushing. Theis with 13 rushes, 73 yards. He had a pretty good day, not as good of a day as he could have hoped, averaging 5.6 yards per carry. Looking at the defense for South Dakota, Hillis had 11 total tackles, 6 of them all by himself, and then leading the way for pass breakups, going to be Harden, a D-back, with 2 of those. Looking by total, South Dakota had 36 rushes for 92 yards, 12 passes for 44 yards, had 5 completions on 12 attempts, and 2 interceptions for 136 total yards. Now, looking at the South Dakota State Jackrabbits, Mark Gronowski, obviously the starting QB number 1 for the Jacks. 12 of 20 with 136 yards, 1 touchdown, and a completion percentage of 60. Looking at the leading receiver is going to be Jackson Yonke. He had 4 catches for 76 yards, a touchdown, his longest catch of 28 yards, averaging 19 yards per catch, and a percentage of 36. Tyler Feldkamp right behind him with 3 catches for 30 yards, his longest being 13, averaging 10, and a completion percentage of 100%. On the rushing side, no surprise here. Isaiah Davis leading the way, 15 rushes for 108 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and 7.2 yards per carry, but also Amar Johnson backing him up with 14 carries, 53 yards, and averaging 3.8. On the defense, Josh Freeman, 7 total tackles, with 4 of them being a solo and 1 sack. Cale Reeder also with 7 total tackles. He had 6 by himself, also a sack, and Adam Bach with 7 as well, 3 solo tackles and 2 sacks, also 2.5 tackles for a loss. South Dakota State had 43 rushing attempts for 208 yards, 21 passing attempts for 136 yards, was 12 for 21 with 1 interception late in the 4th quarter, and 344 total yards. So that's the individual and team stats for both teams. Looking at this, the big Missouri Valley football game that was going on right now, it just ended, like literally as soon as I said that sentence. Number 24 ranked Southern Illinois takes down number 19 ranked Missouri State, 38-21. Not going to call it an upset because Missouri State has been in a downward spiral since they met these Jackrabbits from South Dakota State, losing to UND and now to Southern Illinois. But looking at the Missouri Valley Football Conference scoreboard, North Dakota State beats Indiana State 31-26. Southern Illinois 38-21 over Missouri State, and of course this one 28-3 South Dakota State over South Dakota. Happening just right now, Illinois State up 10-7 over Northern Iowa with 8:15 left in the 2nd quarter. That's on ESPN Plus, as well as North Dakota versus Youngstown State. That one just started, 12:16 left in the 1st, also on ESPN Plus and actually on Midco Sports Network 2. So I think that's going to wrap things up. Any final thoughts from you two?
Just a great game today, really, for the Jackrabbits. Not quite going in the way of the Coyotes not really how they anticipated this one would end. But yeah, just a great game, great day of football here at the Diana J. Dykoff Stadium.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tristan. It's a great game. You know, I kind of wanted to be a little bit closer, but
you'll get it next week.
Oh, I'll get it next week. But no, it's a great win for the Jacks. So.
Yep, and speaking of next week, the Jackrabbits will be on the road up I-29 to Fargo, North Dakota, to take on the number 1 ranked North Dakota State Bison. And sorry, I stuttered there because during the summer I worked for a baseball team. They wanted me to call them the Bison, not the Bison. But I'm from North Dakota, so that was hard for me. But the North Dakota State Bison ranked number 1 in the country. The Jackrabbits ranked number 2 in the latest Stafford Perform polls, shaping up to be a number 1 versus number 2 battle.
It's a battle for the championship.
Yes, it very well could be. If the road goes through Fargo, that's a tough road to overcome. But if the road comes through Brookings, that's also a tough road. So definitely a lot of playoff implications coming from that one coming up next week. And then the week after that, they'll be up at the Alaris Center in Grand Forks, North Dakota, again an I-29 rival. That one's going to be the week after North Dakota State. So the next time we'll have South Dakota State football on our airwaves will be October 29th, I do believe is the exact day, as they take on Indiana State. So from all of us here at KSDJ Radio and KSDJ Sports, for Dalton Cherry and Tristan Hanna and Catherine Jones back in the studio pushing the 1s and 2s as always, keeping us on air and keeping us in check. From all of us here, I'm Braden Byron saying so long. Have a great rest of your Saturday and weekend. Final score again, 28-3, South Dakota State over South Dakota.